Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Last time we fought a mecha battle with this G-Warrior here against the Sapphire Weapon. And then I went to inspect the warrior and noticed the time, so I ended the episode. And here we are. When we first discovered it in Al-Isla, it was in a far worse state than it is now. Different color too. As for its intended purpose, we believe it was developed to combat primals or similar threats. All of the parts deemed unnecessary have been removed, and we made several adjustments to improve stability and overall safety. As a result, however, we had to limit its capacities to some degree. We can't afford to repeat the mistakes made by the Guardians with the Ultima weapon, who we believe employed a knowledge obtained from the Ascians. After all, we know how that ended. We might also be relieved to hear that Master Garland has introduced a pilot recognition system so that only those given prior permission by the Ironworks can operate it. Think of it as a precaution should the enemy get any ideas about stealing it from us. The two sensors on the front of the head work in much the same way as the eyes of living creatures, sending visual information to the pilot. This horn-like protrusion was one of several additions we made ourselves. It was for picking up blink pulse signals, not for ramming the enemy. Still, if push comes to shove, I dare say it could be used to make a last-ditch attack. Compared to the original design, the outward appearance is largely the same, but we've carried out a number of improvements. The manipulators, or hands you might call them, were originally created to claw at the enemy. We modified them to allow the use of various weapons, such as the ethereal saber. I'm glad you noticed. The boosters were built entirely by the Ironworks to allow for low-altitude flight and increased maneuverability. They're currently unsuited for being used over long distances, hence the need to have a G-Warrior transport by airship. This is another area we are hoping to improve in future iterations. Yes. And climb onto his shoulders for pictures. Enough posing here. Alright. You leave us out? No. I must admit I envy your talents. Would that I possess even a fraction of your skill, but I could better serve Gaius. I cannot help feeling there's a simpler way to defeat the weapon. Perhaps shooting it in the head with a large cannon would have sufficed. I've been separated from my family ever since I was forced into the army, but I was able to sneak away in the confusion. I've got you and your friends to thank for that. My main concern is that Legatus Valens won't take this lying down. That man is like a dog with a bone. Once he sinks his teeth in, he never lets go. He'll be back, I'm sure of it. What else do we have here? After all, I don't know if he ever come back, though. Given how much effort they put into this town, I would doubt it. No matter what happens to this town, we always have a view. Not very hopeful, these people. What do you want with me, lass? Tell me about the town. Being far to the south of Verlet, perched atop the cliffs, there was never much reason for anyone to travel here. Being where the sea is all well and good, but we're simply too high above the water to benefit much from it. The gulls and terns don't seem to mind though. Most of the townsfolk are either Huron natives or Aura who found their way here over the years. They all lived side by side peacefully enough before the Guardians came and ruined everything. There wasn't much we could do to stop them. Those who fought back were soon put to the sword. Once the invasion was complete, the Imperials started digging down into the rock and built a supply depot for their blasted airships. But the experiments were a more recent development. Of course, none of us civilians were privy to what it was they were working on. I expect that'll all come to light now that the bastards have all turned and fled with their tails between their legs. We've got you and yours to thank for that, even if it's only a temporary respite. And tell me about you. Me? Not much to tell, even less worth knowing. These days I go about my daily business trying not to bother anyone. Just another sad old man all alone and dying of, well, I doubt you'd care even if I told you. Used to call myself a doctor, not that I was much good at it. When the epidemic came 10 years ago, I was powerless to stop it, despite all my years of experience in fancy medicines. For everyone I saved, I lost another dozen more. Worse than that, I let those Garlean bastards push me around, tell me who to treat and who to leave to their fate. As a result, I only saw to the Imperials while my kith and kin died in agony. Those Garlean bastards are finally gone, it's all thanks to you. My husband died defending our town when we were first invaded, and for all the years since, it felt like he died for nothing. Now his soul might at last find peace. Most of the 7th Legion troops stationed here withdrew before you arrived. I expect they're regrouping somewhere and getting ready to retake the town. I even heard of one of the members of a weapon project is still hiding somewhere in town. Oh, well, that sounds promising, I guess. You did well to pilot the G-Warrior so adeptly in so short a time. And with a weapon largely intact, Sid and his researchers should be able to gather a wealth of valuable information. Before it is dismantled, perhaps we should take one last look upon our fallen foe. Echo. We should have known Father and his friends would track us down sooner or later. Now they're at our doorstep and the Sapphire Weapon still isn't ready. Even so, it should still be able to fend them off, or at least buy us some time. Not quite how I'd imagined it, but it seems as good a way to die as any. Rex, Rykon? Why are you still here? Supposed to be moving the other weapons to a safe location. You can take care of that while I pilot the Sapphire Weapon. What are you talking about? I'm the pilot, not you. There's no need to put your life on the line. Besides, it's still incomplete. Can barely perform basic maneuvers, so it will be practically useless in a real fight. We have a solution. Oversoul. You want to end up like Melisandre? No, of course not. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But she didn't give her life in vain. The Ruby weapon left behind data that's been used to improve the system, to prevent any further malfunctions. What difference does that make? Once Oversoul is activated and the pilot fused with the core, there's no way back. That's why I should be the one to pilot the Sapphire Weapon, not you, Rex. Alphonse needs you. You and I both know I'm the least qualified pilot we have. There's less to lose if I don't make it back. No, I won't let you. Please, Rex, hear me out. Ever since we were children, I was the smallest, the weakest, too afraid to stand up for myself. But we're the best brothers and sisters a boy could wish for. You were always there for me. Protected me. Now it's my turn to protect you. Take the other weapons and get out of here. See this through to the end. Do it for me. For Melisandre. I'm counting on you, Rex. You always did have a stubborn streak. Alright, Rakan, I won't let you down. Just promise you wait for me on the other side. We meet again, brother. You all made me happier than I had any right to be. And now I've finally found my purpose. I have no regrets. Come on, Sapphire. We may be far from perfect, but we have a job to do. Let's give Father something to remember us by. The echo, I presume. What did it reveal to you? Raikon, my poor boy, you are braver than most could ever hope to be. It's as we feared. I'm sorry, Gaius. First Melisandre and now Raikon. We must find the remaining weapons and end this madness. Tell me, what do you make of Gaius Belsa? I understand the two of you have been acquainted since his days as the Black Wolf. He claims to have shed his pelt when he took up the hunt for Ascians. But he's still the same man deep down. He certainly kept quiet about having a flock of foster children back in the Empire, though. It seems he would rather bare his teeth to his former masters than allow harm to come to them. Yet try as I might, I cannot make sense of it. Does he truly fight for the good of mankind, as he would have us all believe? Or is he merely biding his time before he reveals his true colors? Whatever the answer may be, in the end he will always be a Garlean, and though there may be honorable men and women among them, I have suffered much and more as a result of their conquests. Barbaric campaigns in which Gaius Balsa played no small part. My first encounter with the Garleans was 20 years ago, shortly after the fall of Alamigo. They continued their march into the lands that had long been home to the Duskwights. We sought to repel the invaders, but we were woefully unprepared. Our bows and arrows were no match for their magitech, and even our most powerful magics did little to slow their advance. I fought on the front line, but was knocked unconscious on the opening exchange. When I came to, I was alone. The rest of my unit slaughtered. I hurried back to my village to look for my wife and daughter, only to find the place deserted. My search lasted for days, and weeks and months, and it seemed they had disappeared without a trace. I finally learned from 2 Imperials held at Bittermill that the villagers had been captured and used as test subjects for a poison gas that would later be known as Black Rose. They were never seen again. For 20 long years I roamed aimlessly, with nothing but hatred to keep me alive. I eventually found myself at the order of a Twin Adder who offered me a place among their ranks. The desire for revenge was the only thing I had left. So without a moment's hesitation, I accepted. Were it not for the war with Garlemald, I would have been loath to work alongside the city-dwelling Gildanians, who for so long had treated my kind as outcasts. But none of that mattered anymore. It all culminated in Operation Archon. As you led the charge into the Praetorium, we were right behind you. And when the place came crumbling down, most of us were caught in the rubble. I escaped with my life, though many others were less fortunate. Having dragged myself free from the rubble, I sought a way out. It was then that I encountered none other than Gaius Belzer, on the verge of death. The gods had delivered to me the man whose conquest had robbed me of everything. I was poised, ready to exact my revenge, and then he spoke. I will not beg for mercy. I only ask that you stay your hand a while longer. I cannot die until I have rid the world of Yassian menace. For millennia mankind has danced to that tune, but no more. And then, once you are finally free, my life is yours for the taking. I would have struck him down there and then, had I not sensed truth in his words. So I decided to grant him a stay of execution, and join him in his hunt. All this time, I've kept a close eye on Gaius. Though he is ever on the watch for pursuers, he has granted me ample opportunity to slay him if I so chose. And I still might, if he shows even the slightest sign of betraying our agreement. But for now, the Ascians are my chosen quarry. If they are indeed the ones pulling the Empire's strings, then it shall not end until they have been eradicated. Every last one. Though I could not save my kin, there are those who may yet be spared the horrors of war. Unfortunately, dealing with the Ascians will have to wait until we have brought an end to Garlemald's weapon project. Though we may have vanquished the 2 of the new weapons, we must make every effort to prepare for whatever the Garleans throw at us next. Perhaps Severa can tell us whatever the Ironwork engineers have uncovered. Any information of note. Black Rose. Remember, Gaius was the one who ordered the project halted and all, well, research data destroyed, but someone disobeyed that order. The Ironworks engineer is still at work dismantling the Sapphire Weapon and investigating Terncliff Magitech facility. Though we're here to make the report, they may have some news to share at this juncture. Please wait here a moment. We've yet to finish our investigation, but I can give you a preliminary report. Were you able to uncover anything of note? Before abandoning the facility, they have attempted to destroy anything they couldn't take with them, including many of their research materials. Luckily, some information relating to the Sapphire Weapon's combat data was intact. Judging by what we saw during the battle, it was extracted from regular Van Hydrus, correct? It also appears that the Sapphire Weapon was actually in an incomplete state and therefore unable to perform at full capacity. Even so, it was immensely powerful. Had I been given the chance to finish it before we'd arrived, who knows how it would have ended. Indeed. May not be so fortunate next time, so we must prepare for the worst. The Ironworks will continue to investigate the Sapphire Weapon and look into possible countermeasures. The echo afforded you a glimpse into the conversation between Rykon and Rex prior to the weapon deployment. Do you remember any other details? Improvements were made to the synthetic oversight system to prevent malfunctions, when it was never their intent to create a manifestation of Nail Vandanus. But there's one thing that was intended. Oversoul. Its activation results in the pilot being absorbed by the core, killing them in the process. Rex and Rykon were fully aware of this, were they not? Yes. And the death of a pilot was by design all along. Alphonse, how could you? Sacrificing your own siblings to fuel these accursed war machines? Surely there's no cause worth paying such a price. Aye. Nothing's more precious than family. This nightmare is far from over. It appears that Rex has fled with the remaining weapons, and we can assume that Alphonse has every intention of sending them into battle. We must find a way to disable them before Oversoul can be activated. I've seen enough death. I do not wish to see any more. Then there's no time to waste. Let's be about it, Gaius. Severa, you're in charge here. Keep Sid and his team safe while they carry out the investigation. Understood. Please see that no harm comes to Gaius. Well begun. I need you to relay everything to the Resistance troops. Your first account should prove useful. If there are any developments, we'll be sure to contact you. Alphonse, I will find you wherever you are. Whew. This is messy. Welcome back. Sounds like we've had quite the journey. All the way to Terncliff. And judging by the fact you made it here in one piece, I trust everything went according to plan. What an astonishing account. Wouldn't mind putting that Jeef warrior through its paces myself. Certainly a lot more stimulating than supervising this rebel, I'd imagine. Anyway, as before, I'll compile the information into a report and leave it over there for your perusal, should you feel so inclined. If we hear anything from headquarters, we'll be sure to pass it on. Sapphire Weapon bust. Meanwhile, in the 7th Legion Wurlitz headquarters. I have come to deliver my report, Lord Valence. Ah, so if you turned, young Alfred, was it Alvik? Not that it really matters, of course. I hear that you and your darling brothers and sisters have allowed the Sapphire Weapon to fall into the hands of the enemy. Do tell me it isn't so. I'm afraid that's the case, Lord Valens. Ah, come now. No need to be so sullen, as they say. To err is human, to forgive divine. And you know how forgiving I can be, when it suits me. So tell me, whatever your name is, who was able to best the Sapphire Weapon? Our sources state that the one known as the Warrior of Light was assisted by Sid Garland and Gaius van Belser, my lord. Gaius. Yet it seems he's quite a troublemaker of late. Defecting from Garlemald, assassinating the Emperor. Whatever next? Oh well. There's no use crying over spilled milk. Speaking of which, I've become quite a connoisseur since arriving in Verlet. This particular variety comes from a rare breed of cow, you know? Only 100 of them in existence and pampered every day of their lives. Yes, they're quite valuable. Until their milk dries up, that is. When it does, they're sent to the slaughterhouse like all the rest. For that is their lot in life. To be discarded once they have served their purpose. Did I create the ruby and sapphire weapon so you could deliver them gift wrapped to the enemy? I can see it now. Sidney and Garland rubbing his hands with glee at all the technological marbles we bestowed upon him. And you let Gaius van Belser of all people get the better of you? How do you think this reflects on me? Will the guards of the 7th Legion humiliated by that traitor? Humiliated, I say! There's only one way to deal with worthless provincial filth like you. Wait for me in the correction chamber. You need to be taught a lesson in obedience. Yes, my lord. Forgive my intrusion, Lord Valent, but it's time for your meeting with the head of Magitech Development. Oh, how time flies when you're whipping useless soldiers into shape. Yes, I'll be along once I've made myself presentable. Can't have people thinking I let my standards slip, now can I? What are you doing here? You wish to see me, Lord Valens? Did I now? Oh yes, that's right. So you're Ellie, yes? And you joined the military of your own free will along with your fellow orphans. Such devotion. What an inspiration you are. You see, it's my firm belief that love grants us the power to move mountains, to overcome any obstacle. Together, we shall discover the strength that lies within you. Take my hand, child. I will show you the way. That didn't sound ominous at all. And remember, where he was going to see the head of Magitech Research. Are they planning something with her? Anyway, I guess that is that. I think I end this episode here. And we continue this another time. Until then, or until next time, whatever it is, I am Ace, and don't get lost.